Hey, welcome back to the shop under the stairs. Today, I'm working with viruses. Well, sort of. Check it out. So about a week ago, I was flipping through the channels when I came across the movie Resident Evil, and it was the scene in the lab where they're manipulating the vials of T-virus right before one of them gets broken. I thought, what a cool prop that would be. So today, I'm going to attempt to make my own vial of T-virus along with the antigen and a carrying case. Now, normally when I do a build, especially one that I'm going to film, I like to sit down and sketch it out first, plan out my steps, figure out the materials that I want to use, and do some proof of concept builds just to make sure that the ideas and concepts that I'm thinking of are actually going to work before I start to do the build and film it. In this case, I've got a rough idea in my mind of what I want to accomplish. I know what this looks like in my imagination, and I'm just going to kind of go forward from that. So I do have a few pieces around the shop that I'm using for this that are kind of the inspiration behind it. This yellow pelican case being one of the big ones. To me, that just screams biohazard carrying case, and I think with a few good decals that I can make that believable. In addition, I've got some scrap acrylic tubing that I'm going to use to do the glass for my vials, and some odds and ends like LED lights and conductive thread that I think I can put together to make this look believable. The parts that I don't have, I'm hoping that I can design and print on the 3D printer, and then I will put them together. My first stop on building this project was Thingiverse, where I was able to find an antigen and T-virus triple helix that I could use for the vials with slight modifications. I threw this into Tinkercad, where I was able to put a hole in the bottom of it so that the LEDs could be seen on both sides. For the end caps, I searched Thingiverse and found quite a few that I liked, but none that would work for this project. So in the end, I decided to take a look at some of the screenshots online and create my own, again using Tinkercad because it's a simple program, and with basic shapes I was able to create what I needed there. Once these were created in Tinkercad, I was able to export the STL files to Cura, where I was able to send them to my printer and print off 4 end caps as well as 2 triple helixes, one in glow-in-the-dark green and one in glow-in-the-dark blue. So it's been a couple days since I printed everything out. I opted not to film all of the prepping, sanding, painting, filling, all of that stuff that goes along with 3D prints, just because it's going to make the video so long. So essentially we're ready to go. These are the triple helixes, glow-in-the-dark blue, glow-in-the-dark green. This one's already been painted and ready to go for the vial. This one hasn't yet. But essentially this is going to be the helix, which will fit inside of the acrylic tube, and then on each end there'll be a cap. Alright, so I've run into my first snag here. Originally my plan was to use one of these to power everything when it's in the box. This is just the battery pack off of a dollar store LED triangle. It's the 3 lights with the silver where you press it and it lights up and it's super bright. But in using the green LEDs, what I've noticed is that they're not lighting up very bright. Alright, I'll show you what I mean. So I've got everything wired up here, and if I put just one LED into the system, I get a nice bright light. But as soon as I attach the second one, I don't know if you can really see it there. There's barely a bright light there, barely a light here. If I turn this light off, you might be able to see them. And what's more, these batteries are super toasty, so that system's not going to work. That's a fire hazard and they're not very bright. I've wired up a 9-volt battery. I'm just using the resistor off of the old battery pack there, and if I connect these, you can see they're way brighter than they were before. And if I leave them on for a little bit, I don't feel any heat anywhere in the system. So I think that is going to be the way to go. what I need to do is I need to connect the LEDs that are going to go on both ends of this together to complete the circuit. And I'm going to do that with the conductive thread. And so I'm going to hide it out in the open. Basically, I've taken 2 of the 3 helixes and wrapped thread around them. And then this third one that hasn't been done yet, that's the one that's going to connect this LED to this LED. And I'm hoping that because all 3 strands of the helix are wrapped, that it won't look out of the ordinary. We'll just have to give it a try and see what happens. Alright, hopefully everything still works. Let's wire it up and find out. Nice, I'll turn this light out. See, it's got quite a bit of green glow going on there. I like that. I think that looks really good. Alright, so both vials have now been built. On this side here, the blue one is the T-virus, and then the one that is going to be green when it's lit up is the T-virus A+, or the antigen. And I went ahead and put some decals on these as well, partially to make them look more realistic, but also just so that I know which is the positive side, the part that is the virus, and which is the negative of each, which is the sample size. Just a little way to kind of cheat that so I know which way to put them in when the carrying case is done. And I'm going to light them up here just to see what it looks like. I think that looks pretty good. And then I'm going to take the light off and turn the main light out, and hopefully they will glow as well to give that effect. Perfect. You can see a nice blue and green glow there. I'm really happy with how this has turned out so far. It looks almost exactly like I had pictured in my mind. The next step is going to be to change this Pelican case into an actual carrying case, a biohazard case for it. And yeah, that should be fun to figure out. So inside the Pelican case, I'm going to have the viruses sitting kind of like they are now. This one will be raised up a little bit more. I haven't put all the foam padding in. In addition to having the padding, underneath the padding will be the system that I'm going to use to connect the magnets and the circuit. And so I've 3D printed a mount, which needs to be trimmed in. And the other end of the magnets will go here, running to wires, which will go to the power, and the reed switch, which can hide here somewhere. And then that will all be hidden by this foam block. So I need the second foam block here to raise this up enough so that when I put the reed switch in, which I think I'm going to hide right here, all the wiring in the switch itself will be covered by that, kind of hiding the crime, so to speak. What I'm doing now is trying to figure out where I can cut into this box to put the reed switch. The idea being that the magnet will be in here, and when that makes contact with this, it will turn off the system, and when it's unlatched and opened up, it'll turn on the system. I've done some tests with the reed switches, and I found that about a thickness of that is how much plastic I can get away with still having here. And the magnet will still kick in the switch. Any more than that, and it won't. Any less than that, and I run the risk of coming right through here, which would wreck the box, and I don't want to do that. Alright, so I've marked out with a little bit of tape here how deep I can go, and I'm just going to mill out this little area here. And hopefully I don't go too deep. So as often happens when you're just winging it, I broke through here, but I broke through underneath this lip right here. And so when you're looking head on, You can't really see it. If I tilt this up though, you can. So you can see right here is where I've gone through. But that's okay. It's underneath this lip, and this lip, I'm going to actually hollow out the area underneath it, and that should work perfectly for that switch. And then I can just feed the wires through the hole that I've made. And that's all covered up still by the foam, so that crime will be hidden. And this should still be able to latch with this piece coming underneath there. Fingers crossed that'll work. So I'm just going to do a check here to make sure that that magnet will go through there. So if that is pushed right up against, this is the magnet that switches it off. Beauty. So it looks like it'll fit there. Which means I should be able to put it just in that piece there, I would think. All right. I need to wire something up to that to make sure that switch is working. All right. I propped the magnet in place and the switch in place, and I've linked everything up to my multimeter. And so far the system should be broken. There shouldn't be any current running through, which is why it's quiet. When I remove that little magnet, we should start to hear the multimeter beeping, indicating that current is going through. Let's see what happens. Okay, and when I put it back, perfect, that should work. All right, so we got the switch figured out. It's time to start wiring everything up. Alright, so the trickiest part so far has been lining up this reed switch, and I've attached a magnet right there. We're just going to test this out. We can take these off and it should start beeping, and then I don't know if you can still hear that or not, and then still hear it, but once this clips, no more sound. So I think I've got it in the right place. Alright, it's time to put the holders in place, and to do that we're going to use some 5-minute epoxy here, and should hold them forever. Get this on the foam. 5 minutes seems like a lot of time to work, but it never is. Alright, we'll let those set up, and then we should be good to finish soldering all of the wiring together. Everything is soldered in place now. I haven't glued anything down yet. I just want to make sure that everything works. So when I take the magnet off, lights go on. Put the magnet on, lights go off. Beautiful. The internals are finished, the vials are glowing, and all that's really left to do is to apply the graphics to the case to make it look like it is a case carrying a deadly virus that could end the world. I want to send a huge shout out to my buddy Brent, who actually designed the graphics we're going to use today. All that's left to do is to cut them out on the Cricut, layer them, and get them on there. It's been a week of long days in the shop, but the project's finally at a point where I think I can call it done. I think the only thing that's left to do now is to stare at it. So let's do that. This project took a lot longer than I originally anticipated, but it was such a fun project and I'm super stoked about how it turned out. The graphics just pop and really make the prop feel like it could be a legit case for carrying deadly pathogens, and I love how these vials light up when you open up the case. Even though the prop's not screen accurate to either the movies or the games, I still like how it turned out, and I think that's the point of tinkering and making, to create content that you enjoy and that pushes you to try new things and build your skills. This project has certainly done both. If you're still watching at this point, I want to thank you and hope you'll consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Maybe even drop a comment to share your thoughts on the build. Most importantly, I hope you'll get into your shop and build something. I'll see you next time. Cheers.